SambaSports Podcast, where stories are told.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SambaSports Podcast, where stories are told. My name is Mohamed Mwachausa from SambaSports, and today we are flipping the coin. Normally we are the ones hosting and asking questions to guests, but today we have a guest from Oxford, Mr. Denton Knight, who will be asking us questions about SambaSports, and it's going to be exciting. Denton is a student from Oxford University, and he's on his master's degree, and he's here in Kenya doing his field work for his research. Right. And welcome.
Thank you, Mohamed. Welcome everyone, and thank you for having me on the show. As Mohamed has said, I'm researching the Aga Khan Foundation this summer, and Mohamed and I met at Funzi Island with this gentleman named Rafiq. We had a wonderful conversation all together discussing mental health, the situation in Kwale, those work he's done with the Aga Khan Foundation, and we really connected there. So, as he said, today we'll be flipping the script. I'll be interviewing him. We'll be doing 3 parts in the series. The first part discussing what makes SambaSports unique. The second, the challenges that the Kwale region is facing. And finally, we'll be discussing a little bit about the NGO donor world, how the international donor community can support local NGOs better. So just to get started, I'll introduce Mohamed in a little bit more detail. Mohamed Mwachausa was born right here in Kwale, Mombasa, and is the co-founder and acting executive director for SambaSports Youth Agenda. With over a decade working in the international development sector on the coast, he brings rich professional experience to this community organization. SambaSports aims to transform the perspectives and behaviors of young people through the use of targeted, integrated sports activities, theater arts, skits, and life skills trainings. In 2018, SambaSports reached out to at least 7,500 young people between 12 and 17 years old and reached at least 180 parents. Today I'll be speaking about, for this first session we'll be discussing what makes SambaSports unique. So just to get started, Mohamed, can I ask you why? You've worked with Search for Common Ground, MSF, the AKF, USAID on strengthening health systems, building governance, livelihood issues, conflict resolution, and peace building. With all these opportunities to make an impact to these many varied programs and also receive a nice and comfortable living, why leave all that? Why would you leave those impacting organizations to come here and start SambaSports?
I think there's an adage in English that says charity begins at home. I may not have started deep at home. I have gone out there and garnered all that experience and met people and met strategies that work, and I have given my all with all these international organizations. But then we asked ourselves, what are we doing for our own people? If I were to die and I'd be asked that question, you've done so many things in the world. How much of that have you done at home? That would be a very difficult question if I didn't come back home and started something like this. So basically, the allure to start SambaSports is that we have seen a generation of young people who are moving astray, putting in mind that people like myself, coming from very, very vulnerable backgrounds, we have been helped by the community to grow to where we are. So we have a duty to go back to the community and give our best to also nurture the younger generations. So in 2018, before we started SambaSports, there was all this mushrooming negative behavior in young people. You'd see, by that time, UNODC gave a report and said Kwale County accounted for around 25% of all injecting drug users in Kenya. Wow. Kenya has 47 counties, and if Kwale County accounts for 25% of it, that's outrageous. It's huge. Out of all the 47 counties. And then juvenile crime, young boys as early as 12 years, as 13 years, were known to hold machetes and mug people. An adolescent. And the data on teenage pregnancies was the worst for Kwale County and also Kilifi County. So, these are some of the things that ask you as a programmer, and you are moving around the world, around the country, doing stuff for other communities, and yet your community is the worst when it comes to all the statistics. So that kept us thinking and said we must do something that is a game changer. And I had a chance meeting with a gentleman called Juma Mugodo, who came to me asking for support to support 20 young boys in Tiwi, one of the towns in Kwale, because he wanted to support them to play football and also be able to go to school. And he was doing some sort of camping and stuff. So one of the things I asked him, I wanted to know, what is your background? If you want to do this, what is your background? And Juma told me, I am a FIFA accredited youth trainer. And I have played football in all these places. And the fact that the moment he said, I am accredited trainer for young people, I said, voila, that's something, because sports connects. Can we use sports to bring many young people so that we can sensitize them? We can do life skills training, but through that sport. And that's where the idea of all these teenage pregnancies, all these juvenile crimes, all this drug and substance abuse, we can be able to address them when we bring young kids to have fun and play, and then we take them through these lessons. And every day they'll be yearning to go back to these platforms. And that's why we said this is the way to go for SambaSports.
So despite the many different programs that SambaSports is doing, the unifying idea, right, is that you are bringing children to a fun outlet to express themselves through play, through dance, through music maybe, and at the same time teaching them about these life skills, about how to choose the better option to not get into drugs or other abusive situations. Can you talk a bit about what that theory of change really is? Why does this work as opposed to any other approach?
And that's where the uniqueness of SambaSports comes in. And you realize a lot of ethnic communities in Kenya and around the world have a way of grooming children into adulthood. And for us, we had cultures of grooming children into adulthood. But then because of forgetting our cultures and maybe taking more of the Western culture, we kind of forgot a lot of the systems that were supportive to young children, to young adults. And therefore, when it comes to adolescents, there's what we call transitional ritual. Young adults who are finding themselves changing physiologically, mentally, socially, emotionally, don't have someone to accompany them to that adulthood. And that is the time when a lot of stuff happens, and because they are trying to cope with so many things physiologically, socially, and emotionally, and they are being judged by everybody. They are being judged by their parents, they're being judged by their teachers, they're being judged by everybody around them. Then basically they are running berserk, they are running mad. So SambaSports comes and says, hey, wait a minute, we know a lot of people judge you, but we are going to celebrate you. The biggest challenge that is happening with adolescents in the world right now is that they feel lonely. They feel they don't get someone who understands them. They feel they don't have someone who can tell them, if your voice is changing, it's because of this, and it's okay. If your hips are broadening as a girl, there's someone who will tell them, you know what, you are becoming a woman, but be careful. If they get into their menses, someone tells them it's okay. Even me as an adult of 40 years, I went through my menses, and this is how I coped, and these are the wrong ways of dealing with it. If I am a 14-year-old boy, and I feel I don't get enough opportunity for my voice to be heard, I need someone to tell me, you know what, you are good enough, your time will come. Don't be emotional. Don't be irritable. create more opportunities of interaction with other people. So those opportunities are not there. And that's where SambaSport came in and said, we want to handhold these young people. Through sports, through fun, through games, we win their trust, and they tell us more stories that they can tell their teachers, more stories that they can tell their parents.
Right.
And because of that trust, we are able to influence them and inspire them positively towards healthier behaviors. Yeah.
And many of the ideas and the concepts you've been discussing are very relevant and real to me in the United States and the American context as well. We have some of these same issues with loneliness, especially mental health, that transition to adulthood and not being navigated well without some of the familial structures they had historically. Are there any ways that you think that being from this community, you're able to contextualize or make the efforts more relevant than if some international organization was to come in and try to do the same thing?
Yeah, thanks, Denton. I think the previous question was more about what is your theory of change. I have more of navigated around the description of how we do it, but the theory of change, and this what everybody needs to understand, is that when children are not left alone and they are put at the center, they are celebrated, they are engaged, and they are appreciated, definitely they trust you. And then they become innovative. If they are allowed to make mistakes, they become innovative. They try new things, but positively. And by, they become ambassadors of good behavior, because they believe they were given all the opportunities that they needed to be given. And when they make a mistake, they learn from it rather than being cowed to be innovative in the future. So the problem that we are facing right now in the world is everybody's so busy. The economic crunch and everything, so the fathers, the mothers are busy looking for sustenance, and the child, whether he has a headache because he's emotional, whether he has met people trying to seduce him or her, whether they are in their menses and they need someone to support them, they don't find anybody near them. And that's where the problem is. So our mantra, our theory of change is put the children at the center. Celebrate them, give them an opportunity to air their voice, show them that they matter, show them that the future can be bright, show them that they can make mistakes and learn from them, and then show them that making mistakes is okay and they cannot grow without making those mistakes, for as long as they don't keep repeating the same mistakes. And that's the opportunity that we can give to every young person in the world to grow. And that's what has been missing, and that's what SambaSport is bringing.
Beautiful, Mohamed.
Yeah.
Beautiful. You've partnered with many other NGOs as well, right? How have those partnerships supported the work of SambaSports, or how have you been able to support?
So basically, I think the story of SambaSports is a story of partnerships. We operated in 2018 and 2019 without grants, without funds. But we operated because we were able to bring in partners from government, from civil society, from private sector. One of those partnerships has been Best Titanium. They would come every month when we have activities, and they would give whatever they can to support that activity. So we don't have funds of our own, but we have a partner who comes in. Then we used to be calling to NACADA, the National Agency for Drug and Substance Abuse Prevention, and they would come after we do our sports. During the play breaks, NACADA would talk to the young people because they are experts. We also used to bring National Cohesion and Integration Commission, a national outfit, and the CEO was the chief guest in around 40% of our events between 2018 and 2019. So even without funds, the partnerships really worked for us. So we've partnered with the private sector, Best Titanium, Kenya Ferry Services, some of the beach hotels. We've partnered with NACADA, National Cohesion and Integration Commission, National Counterterrorism Center. We've partnered with Muhuri, we've partnered with Huria, we've partnered with Haki Africa, we've partnered with the Aga Khan Foundation, with the Plan International. So a lot of these partners made us who we are right now. So for 2 years, without even funds in our accounts, we were able to ride on the partnership presence to drive our agenda, and it was very successful.
And those partnerships have both informed or provided financial support, but they've also informed the policies and the curriculum that's provided. One partnership I know about is the Aga Khan Foundation's value-based education. Can you talk about how that's been integrated into the SambaSports curriculum, or what that is in the first place, right?
I think every partner who came shaped us. Right. From just a passion-oriented organization to well-organized organization with structures and systems. So, for instance, the Aga Khan Foundation was the first organization to take us through organizational capacity assessment. Mm-hmm. And they plugged in the gaps and said, you are a bit weaker here, you're a bit weaker here, and this is how you can do. So that was the beginning of our progress. And I think that was the end of 2018 or very early 20. Okay. That was the end of 2018. And through the Aga Khan Foundation, we implemented the first, I think, almost 3/4 of a year, value-based education program. Mm-hmm. That we don't just contribute money from our pockets, but the Aga Khan Foundation would facilitate our movement to the ground. Remember, it's not funds in our accounts, but the Aga Khan Foundation would reimburse our transport and maybe facilitate the meals and refreshments that we're doing there. And we did an amazing chunk of value-based education work with schools and with communities, and that's where we found so many intriguing stories that actually now led to our new programming.
So what is values-based education for the listeners?
Value-based education is a deep, entrenched self-reflection that it uses experiential and deeply participatory methodology, fun, songs, dance, poems that just push an individual to go back to their lives and reflect on their journey since they were born to where they are, and then it inspires self-awareness, self-realization, self-awareness, self-acceptance. It inspires respect and empathy for other people, and also it supports or it influences what we call reconciling tensions, because we all have our own tensions, we all have our own judgment, we all have our own assumptions, but through the value-based education, it makes you a whole piece of yourself, and you realize, in the last many years, I thought I wasn't this good enough, or I thought maybe I depended on someone else, but now I realize through the value-based education, I can do this better myself, or I can work better with someone. So it's a very, very deep entrenched self-reflection, and it's a mental health piece that is very, very supportive for personal and communal development.
Amazing. I think we should wrap this up here, but that is really, I think, what makes SambaSports so special, is how it helps youth identify who they themselves are and grow into who they can be in their fullest way. And so please, thank you for listening, and tune back in with us for parts 2 and 3, where we will be discussing the issues and challenges faced here in the region. And then in part 3, we'll be discussing more about the international development community and those relationships and partnerships. Thank you so much.